Hello everybody, good to see you again. It's Mr. A. We're going to talk some more about Shakespeare today. Today we're going to start talking about the tragedies. Now if you know any Shakespeare plays, they're probably tragedies. At this point what I usually do is I say, okay, anybody besides the plays that we've already talked about, tell me a play you know about that Shakespeare wrote. And I have them throw about different ideas, and guess what? They're pretty much all tragedies. Tragedies are the most well-known of Shakespeare's plays. So some of these plays are things that you're like, oh yeah, I've heard of that play, and that's fine. Some of them you probably have been able to read. So as we're going through this, I want you to be paying attention when we're talking about the tragedies. This is how I want you to focus it. We're going to be looking for what are called hamartias. We talked about hamartias in a couple places already. They definitely show up in Shakespeare's tragedies. So a hamartia, to remind you, is a fatal flaw. It's a flaw inside of a person's character. It's not out there. It's not something that happens to them. It's something that's inside of them. They could have prevented everything if they didn't have this problem inside. Alright, so pay attention to this as we talk about the Shakespeare tragedies. Now the first one we're going to talk about is the one that most of you, if you haven't read already, are going to read soon. And that one is Romeo and Juliet. Of all the plays Shakespeare has ever written, this is the one that is the best known. It's also the one that's been adapted the most times. It's been adapted over and over again, not just Shakespeare's story of Romeo and Juliet, but they take the same story and transfer it around a little bit. If you've ever heard of West Side Story, it's a musical which is basically just Romeo and Juliet, except for they set it in a city, and instead of two families, they make them two gangs. If you've ever seen a movie called Warm Bodies, that's basically Romeo and Juliet, except Romeo is a zombie, and instead of two families, it's zombies and humans and stuff. A little more to it than that, but you'll see there's a lot of these. And even if you've never read Romeo and Juliet, you probably know basically what it's about. It's about a guy and a girl that love each other, but their families don't, and they have to fight against that. So let's go over it and talk about it, but I'm going to go over it a little bit differently than what I think some of you would have expected, because the one thing people mostly know about Romeo and Juliet is that it is romantic. And here's where I differ with most people, because I don't believe Romeo and Juliet is a romantic play. I don't believe that Romeo and Juliet are in love. Okay, so the first thing to know about Romeo and Juliet is that Romeo is a Montague. That's his family name. And Juliet is a Capulet. That's her family name. The Montagues and the Capulets have hated each other for a long time, and they don't really know why anymore. It's just one of these old arguments that they don't even know what's going on anymore. But anyway, we start off, the first of those two that we end up seeing is Romeo. And Romeo at the very beginning of the play is desperately in love, and he talks about, oh, I'm so in love, I can't think of anything else. Now Shakespeare is clever enough to know that his audience might already have figured out that this is a romance story, and so he hears this, and you're supposed to think, when you're first seeing this, that he's probably already in love with Juliet, and we're going to find out about them falling in love before. But no, this is a little bit of a trick. He is desperately in love, so much that he can't think straight, with another character, a character named Rosalind, who never shows up in the play. She's not even in it. Now this shows us something about Romeo. He is somebody that falls in love easy, falls in love really, really quick, and doesn't really think very much about it. And his friends know this about him. And so as they're going around with him, he's like, oh, I love Rosalind, I love her forever, and I never will stop. He's like, okay, look, there's this party going on over here. Come with us to this party and you'll forget all about her. There'll be lots of other pretty girls there. No, I shall never forget about her, but I'll go anyway. Maybe I'll see her there. And so he goes with them to this party. Now the party is at the Capulet's house. That's dangerous for him, but it's a mask party. It's a masquerade. So he's kind of in a mask and stuff, and he figures he'll be safe there. So him and his friends go to this party at the Capulet's house, which is where Juliet lives. Now, Romeo and Juliet are across the whole dance floor, basically, across the whole party floor. They see each other from a distance and immediately fall in love. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's not love. Okay, been married for over 17 years at this point, and I can tell you very clearly, that's not love. Love doesn't just happen. That's called sex. All right? And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with seeing somebody and immediately being attracted to them, but that isn't what love is. But anyway, they decide when they look at each other, she is perfect, I love her. He is perfect, I love him. And they get together, they have a conversation of about 4 lines, and then they're kissing. They do not know each other's names yet. And they're already making out. Then they're separated from each other, and Romeo asks one of his friends, hey, who's that girl over there? And his friend says, that's Juliet. She is the daughter of the Capulets. She's the daughter of your father's great enemy. Oh my goodness. And she asks another person, hey, who is that guy over there? Oh, that is Romeo. He is the son of your great father's great enemy. I will submit this makes it more exciting for them both. Now, if you meet a really hot girl at a party and you're kind of totally in love with her or whatever, you might maybe, go home, write in your diary, talk with your friends and stuff. But Romeo doesn't do that. Romeo doesn't think things through. Instead, he says, I cannot leave the party without talking to her. And so he jumps over the fence of her backyard. He's going through the backyard, going through her yard till he can find this place where he can look into her window. And then she comes out of the window, and he's hiding down here in the bushes, and she starts talking to herself about how much she's in love with Romeo. This is the famous balcony scene. And then he calls out, oh, I love you too. Okay, now ladies, if you meet a guy at a party, and then that night he has snuck into your backyard, and he's trying to tell you how much he loves you, you call a cop. Because that's creepy is what that is. These guys have not known each other more than a couple of hours. But Juliet is also a great big dummy, and she said, oh, is that Romeo? Yes, I love you so. Oh, I love you too. Oh, I love you more than life could. I love you even more. These guys are really disgusting. And they decide that they love each other so much that they are going to get married. Again, they've known each other about 2 hours. This is their first conversation where they knew each other's names. Okay? This is not love. This is a little crazy. Here's the other thing. To decide, oh, I love you so much and I'm going to marry you someday. Now that's a little harmless anyway. It's something what you would do when you were 8 years old or whatever. But no, they decide they're going to get married tomorrow. This would be roughly equivalent to if a new person shows up in class today, and by the same time tomorrow, you're married to them. Yeah, that's not love. That's crazy. So, but anyway, they decide they're going to fall in love. She goes back inside. He goes to set it up. He doesn't go to sleep that day. Instead, he goes to the church and he talks to this guy called Friar Lawrence. Now, Friar Lawrence is a grown-up. He should know better. But he thinks to himself, oh, if I get these two married, then maybe their families won't be infighting anymore and I'll be a hero. So he decides that he is going to set it up and get them married. Again, I'm going through this very quickly. That afternoon, basically, he sets it up with them and gets them married. Now they are man and wife. They have not known each other yet 24 hours. It's not been a whole day. It gets worse. So they've gotten married now. They've been known each other less than a full day, and now they're married. Now, I don't know why Romeo doesn't spend the rest of the day with his wife after he's married. I mean, when I was married, I spent, a long time just never being apart from my wife for like a week. He doesn't. Instead, he goes out with his buddies that afternoon. He gets out with his buddies, okay, so they all go out together, and they get in a fight. Now, the guy he's got in a fight with, he's got it coming. His name is Tybalt. He's a horrible jerk. I don't want to get into why and all that sort of thing. But Romeo had no business being out there. He should be with his wife on the night they were just married. Instead, he goes out with this guy. He gets in a fight, and he ends up killing this guy, Tybalt. Now, this is bad, because the prince of this city that they live in said that the next person that kills somebody or hurts somebody or does anything in this feud is going to be banished from the city. So he has now been banished from the city. He's not allowed to come back. More to the point, though, he just killed Juliet's cousin. Now, keep in mind, let's say you fall in love with some guy and you're like, you get all totally in love with him, whatever, but you've only known him for a day, and then he kills your cousin. maybe you start thinking, okay, maybe he's not such a good guy after all. Maybe I shouldn't be with him. But Juliet's a great big dummy, and so instead she says, oh, I loved my cousin Tybalt, but my first duty has to be to my husband. He's my husband now. And so she decides that even though he just killed a member of her family, she's going to be on his side. So that night, Romeo does possibly the dumbest thing he could do. He goes back, sneaks back into her house, into her bedroom, and they sleep together. Now, they are married, so they're not doing anything naughty in that sense, but he just killed a guy in this family. That family already doesn't like his family, and now he's in their house sleeping with their daughter. You have any idea what they'd do to him if he got caught? But anyway, they have one night together as husband and wife, and then he needs to leave the city because he's been banished. Okay, so Juliet, though, it gets worse. Oh, this is only the beginning of the problem. So Juliet has just woken up, having just spent the night with her husband, and all Twitter painted still. Her father comes in and says, hey, Juliet, I've got wonderful news for you. I have set up a wedding for you. You're going to marry this wonderful man named Paris. Now, Paris is apparently, in fact, a wonderful guy. He's rich, he's powerful, and he seems to really care for Juliet. But Juliet's problem is, of course, she's married now. So she can't marry Paris. But she hasn't told her dad that, so she can't tell her dad why. She says, no, I can't marry Paris. Well, you're sure as heck going to marry Paris. I've already set it up. So you're going to marry Paris whether you want to or not, so get used to the idea. And she's like, I need to go talk to the priest. And so she leaves, saying that she's going to go talk to the priest to, repent for, dissing her dad, basically. Really, though, the priest knows what's up. And so she goes to the priest and is like, oh, have you heard of your... Yes, I've heard your father wants you to marry Paris. Oh, you've got to fix this. You need to fix this problem. If you don't, I've got a dagger right here in my pocket, and I'm going to kill myself right here in front of you. Okay, now it's not really a joke. If you feel like you're in love with someone, and then not being with them makes you feel like you need to kill yourself, seek professional help. Get to a therapist. That is not healthy. What we are describing here is not love. It is a dangerous obsession. But Friar Lawrence is terrified, doesn't know what exactly to do. He doesn't want her to kill herself right in his church. And so, wait, I've got an idea. It's a little crazy idea. Follow me here. And this is his idea. He's going to give her a potion that if she drinks it, she will fall asleep and she'll look dead. And everyone will think she's dead. And then they're going to take her dead body and put it in their crypt. They don't bury bodies back then if they were rich. They put them in a crypt. So they're going to put them in a crypt, and she will be sitting there dead for about a day. Meanwhile, he'll send a message to Romeo. Him and Romeo will be there when she wakes up to take her, and they'll take her away to another city, and she can be with Romeo. Now, understand what they're actually saying. Let's suppose that everything works out perfectly right. That means that Juliet is going to leave home. Her mom and dad and family will believe that she is dead. They'll have that kind of pain to deal with, and then she will never see her family again. And she'll go off into the blue with a guy that she met yesterday. This is stupid, guys. This is a stupid idea. But Juliet goes for it. And so Juliet takes the potion from Friar Lawrence, and she goes and she drinks her potion, and she falls over, and her family comes in. They think she's dead. They're terrified and horrified by the whole thing. They just lost a cousin. Now they're losing a daughter, and it's terribly, terribly sad for them. It gets worse! Because then Friar Lawrence sends a letter to Romeo. The letter gets lost in the mail. Long story, but basically it gets lost in the mail. So Romeo doesn't get the letter that Juliet has faked her death. Instead, he hears a rumor from a friend who has gone to see her funeral that she has died. Alright, now if you have fallen in love with someone and then you hear a rumor that she's dead, maybe like cry for an hour, you know, write it down in your diary, talk to your friends, go to therapy or something like this. But Romeo doesn't think, he just acts. And so he says, oh, the fates, the stars have decreed we shall be apart. Then I defy the stars. We will be together. So he goes and buys himself some poison. His plan now is that he's going to break into the crypt, drink the poison, and die right beside his wife. Remember what I just said about dangerous stuff that you should go see a therapist for? Yeah, Romeo's got the same problem. He's ready to kill himself because he doesn't want to be apart from a girl that, again, he has known for 2 days. He's had 3 conversations with her. This is crazy. This isn't love. This is insanity. So, he gets the potion. He's going in there. He's banished from the city. If he gets caught here, he'll get killed anyway. But he goes in there. He ends up killing Paris. I feel terrible for Paris, by the way. Paris is just this guy that likes Juliet. He has no idea what's going on, and he gets himself killed by Romeo just for being in the wrong place. So Romeo kills Paris. He goes to the crypt, and lo and behold, there is Juliet sitting there. And he's like, oh, I love her so. I must kiss her. She almost looks like she's alive. Because she is alive, you dork. And he goes, oh, I will kiss her body. Mwah. Oh, and her body is warm. Yeah, because she's alive, you idiot. If he'd sat there and thought about it for 10 minutes, everything would turn out fine. But he doesn't think. Instead he goes, I will drink the potion. And now he dies. Now he hasn't drunk a fake potion. He's actually dead now. In comes Friar Lawrence, who's coming in to try to save the situation. He sees Romeo dead. He's like, oh no, it's all screwed up. Juliet wakes up, and she's like, where's Romeo? He's like, oh, it's all right, I'll get you out of here. We'll take you to a convent or something like that. And he's like, no, you go away. I'm going to stay here with Romeo. He's like, I can't stay here. I'll get in trouble. So he leaves. She sees Romeo. She has a little speech about how much she misses him. And then she takes the knife he's carried with him, because everyone carries daggers around, and stabs herself in the heart. And now she's dead too. Now, into this steps Juliet's dad, Romeo's dad. They see what's going on. They're like, oh, why are our children here and dead? And along comes Friar Lawrence, and he explains to them what happened. And then these two say, oh, it was all our fault. The hatred that we held for each other led to their death. Let us make peace and never make troubles again. And so at least they make some peace out of it. But still, they believe that it is their fault, that their hatred was what led to this problem. I don't think so. I think there was something else going on. And that's what I'm going to talk about, is their hamartia. So what's their hamartia? What is the flaw in their nature that led to their death, their destruction? Well, some people will say that their flaw was love. They were too much in love. Their love was too large for this world. Those people scare me, because I'm afraid that those people are going to end up having a relationship like Romeo and Juliet, this obsessive, crazy thing, and thinking that that is what love is. And that's dangerous. Now, the thing about art, though, about literature like this, art is not mathematics. There is not one correct answer here. If you say, no, but that is true love, Mr. A, okay, you make me nervous. I'm afraid for you. I'm afraid that you're going to have a terrible life romantically, but you can believe that. It's literature. You can believe that. I don't think so, though. When I look at this and I think, what is their hamartia? What caused all their problems? I say, you know what the problem is? They are impulsive. They act without thinking. They just do things without thinking about it. If Romeo or Juliet had stopped to think about things for an hour at any point in the play, they would have survived. But they don't think. They just act. Now, partly that is being romantic, you know? Like if I'm on my way home from school and I see some guy selling flowers, I'm gonna get some flowers for my wife. And I stop and I buy $20 of flowers, and I come home, and then, like, after I've left, I'm thinking, why did I do this? 20 bucks? I could have gotten her something that she would be able to keep and treasure for a long time, you know? I mean, these are just gonna die. What's the point of these? But it's kind of nice to be kind of impulsive and romantic like that. So part of that is okay. But to marry a person that you've known for 3 hours, to try to kill yourself for the love of someone that you've known less than a week, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's not safe impulsive, you know? Their impulsiveness is so big that it just overwhelms them and destroys them. And that is what I believe the hamartia is for Romeo and Juliet. And again, which is why I say they're not in love. What they are is dumb teenagers. Teenagers that think they're in love because their hormones tell them so. Again, this is my feeling on it. I would love to do Romeo and Juliet one of these days, but I think I would do it much differently than other people because, again, I don't think they're in love. I think they're dumb. And they need people watching them is what they need. In any case, though, I've decided that I'm going to do just one play today. And part of it is because the last one we did was much, much longer than I wanted it to be. It's about 45 minutes. And I think I'd rather that it was closer to about 20 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and stop right there. Tomorrow, or no, the next time we do this, we're going to do one of my very favorite plays, which is called Macbeth. And we'll talk about that one next time. In the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy. Keep on reading your monologues and doing your stuff, and be good to your families. See you later.